Welcome, Guardians and Scribes, and would you like to call down the thunder like the god Thor himself? Or would you like to take out them headless ones as quickly as possible to earn the best rewards in the Haunted Lost sectors? Or would you just like to have good clean fun in Destiny 2? Well, have I got a Hunter Arc build for you today, and that's right, we're going all Arc baby with this build, so buckle up. Hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and and before I forget, I am going to leave something in the back half of the video here at the very end to ask for help for something, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned to the very end. And let's get into the build. Alright Guardians, let's get into this build. Don't you like that drip? Either or, as you can see here, here's my weapons that I really like. Bittersweet for heavy GL, Vantage Point for that pulse, with both of them having jolting feedback, and the pulse having eddy current, which honestly I kind of like. And Wither Horde is just great for applying weaken on people, plus if you do it to a boss or something, it does continuous damage if you get it right on them. But let's get into the subclass itself here, because I think this is where it starts getting a little juicy. We have obviously Gathering Storm for our super, because it plays into our exotic class item that we'll get into in a little bit here. Dodge and jump, really whatever you'd like. I like Gambler's Dodge because I want to get that melee ability back. And yes, we are using Combination Blow with the standout aspects of Lethal Current and Flow State, which just go so good together, like peanut butter and jelly, or peanut butter and chocolate, or peanut butter and bananas. God, I love peanut butter. Either way, Pulse Nades, very good, as it just does great AoE damage to enemies, and not just like one specific enemy, it's going to do a whole bunch of them. Aside from that, let's get into the aspects and what they actually do. So, Lethal Current, you dodge, your next melee increased lunge range, jolts the target, and creates a damaging aftershock. Damaging any jolted target with a melee attack also blinds them. So essentially, you jolt something, you damage it with melee, and you blind them. Boom. Or you dodge and get jolting melee fist. Boom. There's one form of jolt just right there, apart from the weapons, is your melee. Next, Flow State, it just goes well with Lethal Current, because if you're defeating jolted targets, you become amplified, and when amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly, you're more resilient while you dodge, and you reload weapons very quickly. I do like the first two parts of that, where your dodge recharges more quickly, and your melee and your dodge gives you resilience while you use it. So it really feeds well into each other just with those two parts in and of itself. Next, we have Spark of Resistance. I think this is just a great overround. Can't speak. But I think this is just a great all-around aspect to have, or not aspect, but fragment to have, because we are moving on to fragments. Didn't say that, sorry. But it is great because while you're surrounded, you get more resilient to incoming damage, and if you are getting up and close to enemies with your combination blow, this does go very well with that. Next is Spark of Shock, which arc grenades jolt targets. So thus now we have two forms of jolting effects with just our abilities apart from our weapons. So both our melee and our pulse grenade will jolt targets. And then we have Spark of Amplitude. I really feel like this one can be switched out for feedback, or I think magnitude, or anything along those lines would be great too. But I really like it just because it does feed into that orb creation a lot more, that allows you to get Gathering Storm a little bit faster. But basically rapidly defeating targets while you're amplified, which will be doing that quite often with Flow State, will allow you to create orbs. And lastly but not leastly, we have Spark of Recharge. While critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy or regeneration rate is more, just makes your melee and your grenade charge quicker when you're damaged. So that way you can have, backup of regeneration for it there. Next, let's get into the exotic class piece here, because I really think this is an slept on class item this season. just because it wasn't like Raiju's harness wasn't ever really that great to begin with, and now I feel like they just kind of made it juicy. This is basically Thundercrash for hunters. But, so we have activating Gathering Storm calls down lightning on all nearby targets, jolting them while also amplifying allies. Defeating arced debuffed targets grants a small amount of Gathering Storm energy. So you can see we're having a bunch of things that allows you to jolt things or blind them, will allow you to get Gathering Storm a lot quicker. I think it's only like 1 to 2% energy that you get back, but if you're slaying on the battlefield like you should be with this build, then you'll be getting Gathering Storm a lot quicker than you think. I think I can get it down to like 10 seconds if I am doing the right stuff, because your super jolts them and does damage to them. Your guns jolt them and then will do damage to the little guys. Your grenade and your melee jolt people. So like pretty much everything you're doing is just causing massive amount of arc debuffs to everything around on the battlefield. Next, let's get into the mods. They do help, but you can definitely change them up as needed, because I don't really feel like any of these are like really like standouts. Like honestly, I feel like we could drop one of the heavy-handeds and put in something like firepower, so that way we're making an orb on both our melee and grenade. But if you lean more into the melee like I do, you probably want more heavy-handed to get that 5-second cooldown here. So just to start off with, for the stats that I look for in pretty much every hunter build, is going to be resilience, discipline, mobility, in that order. And as you can see here, I only needed 3 to get that resistance all the way up to 100, 25, and 23 will get me there for the rest of the way. So, apart from that though, in regards to the actual mods besides the stat mods, we have Harmonic Siphon, so your arc energy weapons will allow you to do, create orbs on every other kill there. Then we have Hands On, which again, I feel like if you are leaning more into the nades, you might want to use ashes to assets, just because we're trying to get Gathering Storm as quickly as possible. So we want everything to make orbs of power for you to grab or apply stuff to the actual creating of super energy. And we already kind of went over the hands a little bit, but heavy-handed to cool down that orb regeneration with your actual melees, and then fastball because I like to throw that grenade as far as I possibly can. Resistance, do whatever you want as far as this goes. I always like to have a sniper resistance mod on there because those fuckers suck this episode. Next, for the pants, we have integration, which is great for picking up those orbs of power and getting your melee back to then allow you to get your super back with melee kills. Recuperation for replenishing that health each time you do pick up a melee to get this orb of power, so that way you're getting both health and melee energy back just from the legs. Then we have an arc weapon surge mod just to give a little boost, because I always think it just makes it feel a little bit better if you have one surge mod on, and plus we're making all these orbs of power, we're not doing anything with them armor charges. Next, we have Bomber, Reaper, and Powerful Attraction. Pretty standard setup when it does come to Hunter Cloaks. Dodge to get your grenade, which then sucks in orbs of power and then allows you to make an orb of power on your next weapon kill. So as you can see, all of it is either to create super energy or to give you an orb of power to create super energy. And there are a couple of artifact mods that do actually help out with this here. These do whatever you want with to help you out with GMs or whatever you're going into. But Rapid Impacts is definitely one that helps out, because Witherhorn, each tick of that when you get it onto an enemy will then increase the reload speed up to stacks of 5. Since we're using a lot of arc, we want to do Trace Evidence, where rapid precision hits or rapid final blows on targets affected by jolt or blind will generate ionic traces. Then rapid arc or retro burn, so rapid arc weapon precision hits consume an armor charge to blind the target. So basically, you know, that'll definitely feed in to the actual like build with helping out with blinding things. Then that'll allow you to get more energy back. I don't know. I don't think kinetic impacts is back. I don't think it works still. Sustained damage with a power GL causes the combatant to emit a shockwave that causes damage to nearby combatants. The shockwave can stun unstoppables. I don't know if this is. I'll have to retest that in the GM this week because they have actual unstops in there. Maybe something like a lost sector or whatnot. But either or, I think, you know, honestly, the rest of them, you can do whatever. Since we are using GLs, we probably do want to make sure that they weaken people and that you can get Devour to get that actual grenade energy back a lot quicker. And this, you know, debilitating wave, I really think is cool too, because, you know, you are going to, when you finish enemies, emit a damaging wave that matches the element of your currently equipped super. So you just do it, you get a wave of arc that goes and kills people, and then rapid weapon final blows grant you a bonus in mobility, and this with the Dark Ether Reaper perks on there, it gives you more of that. And since we are using 2 weapons that have it, it is not bad. But so far, that's what we have for the build. Let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. Now, like I stated earlier, you want to jolt as much as possible, because our goal for this build is to create as many gathering storms as quickly as possible. And the way that we can do that is by applying a arc debuff to enemies and then defeating them. So jolting them, blinding them, all those kind of verbiage will help you with getting your gathering storm a lot quicker. So if you're close by enemies, you can dodge, then punch, and that will jolt them. If you get your combination blow up to ×3, it does have a greater chance of killing higher end mobs, plus it is a great add clear potential for things like thralls. Next, I would say one of the other things I like to do is I will pop a Wither Horde on the big guys, go to town with a nade or jolting feedback perk from a weapon, and then throw a gathering storm as soon as it pops up. So the gameplay loop that I kind of sit through is, if I'm close enough, dodge, punch. If I'm not, shoot my weapons. Pretty easy concept. And as you're seeing in the gameplay, the back here, it's kind of the same. I dodge, punch, or I threw my nade and Wither Horde the big guy and throw down Gathering Storm, or use my heavy GL to take him out. Pretty easy build, and the mods along with the weapons and the super and everything make it so much easier just to play through content like GMs or expert haunted lost sectors or anything that is high-end content that you would need. But it's also very powerful for the low-end content, just like anything else would be, honestly. So there you have it, guys. That's the build for today. It's, like I said, pretty fun build. All you have to do is dodge, punch, throw down nades, shoot your weapons, use your super, in any order that is most conducive to killing the biggest amount of enemies. Now, there is something I did want to ask you guys for help on, since my last video did so well and we have so many new people subscribed to the channel. I do have a Discord server that if you would like to come and hang out and talk to us, you can go ahead and join the server there. Not too many people are active in it anymore, but I would like to cultivating a community where you guys can come and either post your build suggestions for what you're doing this episode, or just talk to me, and or even help me out with a couple of videos like the Vespers host. It's very hard to get all the pieces that I need because I have to play Vespers host 3 times, doing one of the augments each time so I can get the proper footage. So if anybody wants to help out with that, the Discord link will be in the description. Other than that, if you guys did like the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more content like this, and the like button to show me that you did really care. Leave your comments down in the comments below about what builds you're using for Festival of Lost. I'd love to try them out and maybe even make a build video out of them. Aside from that, thank you guys for watching and have an awesome day.